Hey, what is up, folks? I'm super stoked to talk to you today. I have this new playlist I'm starting called AARP Reviews. And in this particular playlist, I'm going to be reviewing articles that I have come across in my AARP bulletin. And yes, I am over 50, and when I got the notice in the mail to sign up for AARP, I was a little reluctant at first, but I decided to dive in anyway. Because age is just a number, remember that. You can outfox it, and you can outsmart it. And speaking of that, it brings me to the first article I'm going to review. It is a special report called Super Agers. Actually, Super Agers Breakthroughs. But before I get into the framework of this video, make sure to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. And smile as you do it. Okay, here's how this is gonna work. There is a list in this big article they wrote called A Perfect Day of Not Aging. And there are 9 different things they talk about in here that they say you should do to reverse the hands of time and reverse the aging process and age gracefully. I'm gonna read them all to you, and I'm gonna give you my take on each one. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelts and let's get rolling. Okay, the first one says wake up. Here's how it goes. Waking up between 6 and 8 a.m. is generally in sync with your body's circadian rhythm, which is the internal clock that regulates your sleep and wakefulness. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends that you wake up no less than 7 and no more than 9 hours after you went to bed. What is my take on that? Drum roll. My take on that is this. It is dependent. It depends on what time you go to sleep. It depends on your activity levels during the day. And it depends on what you have on tap for your day ahead. Personally, I like to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. That's an ideal situation. Rarely does it happen, but that is ideal for me. Generally, I get up between 4:30 and 5 a.m. every single day, even on weekends. However, on weekends, sometimes I'll wake up and then I'll try to fall back to sleep and I'll fight to fall back to sleep, and sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. But I know general purpose is, I understand the word circadian rhythms. I'm big into that, and that means that your organs function a certain way throughout the course of the day and the evening. That is why I'm hugely against eating late at night. I will get into that shortly though. Overall though, the recommendation to wake up between 6 and 8, I think that's pretty accurate. If you can get up earlier, that's even better because you can get more done in the day. And if you can walk outside and get some sun first thing in the morning and walk barefoot in your grass, you're gonna get some earthing and put your body in homeostasis. So I'm gonna add that to the mix. Okay, on to the next point. Morning walk. Oh, well, there we go. And it says between 7 and 9. Be sure to get some sunlight in the morning. I jumped the gun on that one, which helps your body produce the vitamin D that may slow the aging process. Make a habit of walking the dog or doing light chores outside first thing in the morning before the demands of the day trap you in your house, car, or office. Yes, that is an absolute 100% fact right there. I highly suggest that one. I highly agree with that one. 7 to 9 is a good time frame. I would say even earlier if you can, and definitely do the walk, but just do it barefoot. And if you don't have a dog, knock on your neighbor's door and see if you can walk their dog. Or water the flowers, or just do something active outside first thing in the morning. Okay, next, breakfast, 9 to 10 a.m. Start with a protein smoothie with mixed fruits. Ooh. A high protein breakfast is critical for maintaining muscle mass as we age. According to numerous studies, the studies are coming out. Research shows that getting 25 to 30 grams of protein in the morning is effective in preventing age-related muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia. My teeth are chattering, I'm scared. Guess what? Nonsense. If you fast, your body does not break down muscle. It preserves muscle. It goes into muscle sparing. I don't buy that for a split second. All the experts and doctors out there these days and influencers are trying to shove protein down your throat every chance they get. I think it's baloney. I would suggest pushing your meal to about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning and eating only 2 meals a day. And just make sure you get a substantial amount of protein in each meal. Your body is not going to disintegrate. You're not going to go into sarcopenia. It depends on what you do in the gym, working out. And that's going to come up somewhere down the line here, so I'll wait on that one. But I absolutely disagree with that one, almost 100%. The 25 to 30 grams of protein is a good recommended amount. But this nonsense about forcing protein down your throat every chance you get, I just don't buy it. So I'm going to say wait longer to break your fast and don't be so scared to do fasting in the first place. Okay, next. Meditation, and they recommend doing this around noon. Any calming activities such as yoga or prayer can help reduce the risk of cognitive decline by activating the prefrontal cortex, an area of the brain that is diminished in those with cognition difficulties. A study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that just 12 minutes of meditation daily could make a difference. All I've got to say is one thing on this one. Yes, I agree with that. Meditation. Absolutely, just sit in silence for 5 minutes. Sit in a chair, close your eyes, and just breathe through your nose for 5 minutes. Simple as that. Count your breaths, close your eyes outside, sit on your porch, and listen for 5 to 10 different sounds, different ones, throughout a 5-minute period. That's a really good meditative practice. Absolutely, I agree with that one on meditation. Basically, it's just down-regulating your system for a little bit to give your whole entire neurological system a little bit of a break. And yes, I think that can help with cognitive decline and overall brain function and mood support as well. So I agree with that one. Next on the list, lunch. 1 p.m. they recommend. Okay, let's see what they have to say. Have a mixed salad with salmon. A Mediterranean-style diet that is abundant in fruits and vegetables and omega-3 rich fats, such as salmon, can help reduce inflammation, a culprit in biological aging, according to a review of studies in the journal Nutrients. Eating a wide variety of plant foods boosts the microbiome, the master controller of gut inflammation. Okay, I agree with the meal suggestion. I would say always follow a balanced meal, and that sounds like one right there, pretty much. A balance of good protein, good carbs, healthy fats. I don't agree with eating that soon, because now we're starting to get in, we're already at meal number 2 and it's 1 p.m. So I agree with the meal, I don't agree with the timing. Next, exercise. I knew it was coming up. They suggest 3 p.m. Let's read what they have to say about it. Afternoon exercise may reduce the risk of premature death, even more than the morning or evening workouts, according to a study of more than 90,000 men and women published last year in Nature Communications. Walk briskly for 30 minutes or get some kind of cardio exercise at least 5 days a week and use weights on the other 2 days. I think that is good advice for very basic levels. I believe you should get some form of exercise every day, but I think 30 minutes is a bare minimum in my opinion. I think that'll get you on the playing field of benefits, but I would suggest turning the volume up a bit more, doing like 3 hardcore strength workouts a week, if not 4, and do cardio 3 or 4 days a week. Now personally, I have not missed a day of consecutive exercise since October 1st, 2007. Yes, I have exercised every single day in a row since then, and I do not plan on stopping, ever. I would say 80% of those workouts were hardcore. Some days when I was traveling or driving across country behind the wheel, I had to resort to getting creative, like doing isometric contractions, stopping at gas stops, walking around the building a few times, doing some push-ups in grass and air squats. But I got my minimum of 30 minutes in every single day. Normally, my workouts are a minimum of an hour and a half. They usually go an hour and a half to 2 hours. And in the summertime, it's a non-negotiable. I do multiple workouts a day, especially on weekends with my girlfriend Jen. Sometimes up to 3 workouts a day. My take on this is, if you got the juice, if you got the energy, use it. Exercise, the body was made to move. It wasn't made to sit. It wasn't made to sit back and do foo-foo light exercise either. You're designed to do some high-intensity stuff. I would do some triggering of high-intensity exercise in those weeks as well. Maybe twice a week, do HIIT workouts for 20 minutes. Alternate between brisk walking uphill and walking downhill back and forth. Do kettlebell swings with rest breaks in between. 10 swings on top of a minute, 20 minutes in a row with rest in between. And then definitely do some form of exercise where you're hitting all of your major muscle groups. And put your foot on the gas. Just because you're aging, it doesn't mean jack squat. You want to age gracefully, and you want to reverse the aging process. In order to do that, you've got to go beyond your comfort zone. So don't be too scared and do these little sissy walks outside. And don't get me wrong, I love walking. I think it's a great activity, but I think it should be a secondary activity. So think in terms of doing strength training first thing in the morning, and then maybe go for a walk later in the afternoon. And I would suggest working out first thing in the morning on an empty stomach after 12 to 14 hours of fasting, not 3 p.m. Although, if you look at the circadian rhythm charts, technically, you're most strong at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm guessing that's why they put it there instead of early in the morning. But honestly, anytime you exercise is going to be beneficial. Choose a time that works best for you. But I would highly suggest you do it fasted. And if it's in the afternoon, try to wait 4 to 5 hours after your last meal before you do your workout. Okay, I'm on to the next point. 4 to 6 p.m., socialize. I already agree with this one before I even read it, but let's see what they have to say. And I quote, maintaining social connections is one of the pillars of anti-aging, according to several studies. Social isolation in older people can increase the risk for dementia by up to 30%, according to researchers at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine and the Bloomberg School of Public Health. I 100% agree with that. Social isolation is one of the worst things you could possibly do. When all that COVID crap was going on and people had to shelter in place and everyone was wearing masks outside on trails and biking and behind the wheels of their car. I was going frantic looking at people. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I was riding my bike sometimes out on the trails, and people had masks on, and when I came by, they would jump in the weeds and turn their back on me. I felt insulted. What kind of nonsense is that? You know what I did? I did a 2.5-hour bike ride. I came home, and I felt bad because someone did that to me. I'm very impressionable if you haven't noticed. Now just take that scenario and put it into your life. Do you sit at home like a hermit and do nothing and talk to no one? Dude, woman, whoever you are taking years off your life by being isolated like that. Call people, text them, look at people. When you see them in public, look people in the eye, compliment them, tell them you love them, give people hugs, give people handshakes, get eye contact, get human connection. That is so critically important for mood, for the prevention of brain function issues, just like they mentioned, for cognitive function, for mood support. That is so critically important to reverse the effects of mind aging. It helps with your cognitive function all around. It helps with memory. It helps with mood boosting. It reduces anxiety, depression. It allows you to think straighter. So do not isolate yourself. I 100% agree with that one. Next, 6 p.m., dinner. Meal number 3 now. Here's what they have to say. Dine on vegetable tacos with brown rice and beans. Eating during an 8 to 12 hour window of the day and fasting for the remaining 12 to 16 hours, including sleep, has been shown to have numerous advantages associated with longevity and decreased incidence of disease, including cancers. Lean heavily on vegetables, fruits, nuts, grains, and legumes, then close the kitchen until morning. Okay, well, at least they're mentioning fasting. So basically, they're talking about, I would say, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Actually, that's not a bad window. So that would be about a 9 to 10 hour eating window. And they didn't say anything about snacks in between, but they did. And they don't stress not eating late at night and not having snacks. However, they do recommend good meals and healthy ones. And I completely agree with them because they're balanced. They have a good source of protein, carbs, and fat. And they say to lean more into the fruits and vegetables. And don't tell that to the carnivore people, if there's any of them out there or any of you out there are carnivore, because they're going to say fruits and vegetables are poison and garbage and throw them away and don't even think about it because they have anti-nutrients in them and they're going to kill you. Guess what? They're not going to kill you. Carnivore diet won't kill you. Keto diet won't kill you, vegetarian won't kill you, and pescatarian won't kill you. What will kill you is stressing about it all day, every day. Bottom line is, find the diet plan that works for you, utilize it, and think happy thoughts. Yay! Don't put stress into your food. That's gonna jack up your hormones, especially cortisol. But in the big picture, I personally do flexitarian, and I would suggest you do something like that, which is sort of what they're describing here. That means your diet is flexible, and you eat pretty much everything in sight, and you eat clean forms of it. And they recommend 12 to 16 hours of fasting. I would lean more toward the 16 range and go for 2 meals a day, not 3. Okay, last point they mentioned. Bedtime, 10 to 11 o'clock p.m. Here's what they have to say. A UK study found that going to bed between 10 and 11 p.m. may reduce heart disease risk, especially in women. Other research indicates that deep sleep, which occurs from the hours of 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., represents the optimal time for the brain to clear out debris and reorganize itself, reducing one's risk of Alzheimer's disease. Wasn't that cool? When I was going through my secondary health coach certification last year, I read a study in there and some information in one of the chapters about these toxins that get flushed out of your system when you go into deep sleep, which helps improve brain function. And that's probably what they're alluding to right here. What you don't want to do, again, is eat late at night because that stops this from happening. You can't get that detoxing effect properly and deeply if you eat right before bedtime because it screws up your systems and your circadian rhythm and your organs get all jacked up, including your brain. Brain is an organ, remember that. So fasting several hours before bedtime is going to be most beneficial, and it's going to allow you to sleep more soundly, and you're going to be able to tap into these benefits that they mentioned. And between 10 and 11 p.m., I'd say, yeah, that's good. I would even suggest going to bed a little bit earlier if you can, somewhere between 9 and 10, as opposed to 10 and 11. And try to follow the same sleep schedule every day. Meaning, don't be sporadic and be up till 2 a.m. tonight and 9 a.m. tomorrow and 12 o'clock p.m. the next night and alternating in this weird up and down fashion and then getting up all hours willy-nilly in the morning the next days. You want to try to create consistency with your sleep schedule. Okay, there you have it, Super Agers. Hopefully you are a Super Ager, and if you aren't, take some of those points into consideration that I just rattled off. Take some of my points into consideration too. Overall, that was a really good article. I'm going to say that. I wouldn't take everything they said to heart, but they have a very good structure there to follow. And if you follow their structure, you're going to do good. If you follow the structure that they set up and that I added to, you're going to be doing yourself a lot more justice. And it doesn't matter if you're 50 plus or if you're below 50. I would still follow all those rules I talked about because they apply to all age groups, really. Okay, there was my inaugural AARP review. Make sure to like and share this video if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to my channel. Think happy thoughts. Treat everyone like they're the greatest person in the room when you meet them. And love on somebody every chance you get. Till next time, this is Kevin David Rail reporting live.